Okay, so the concept I wanted to focus on was transversals and getting kids to understand how certain angles are congruent, such as the opposite interior and exterior, in order to use these as proofs. If I were to do this in my class, I would provide each child with this picture, which is the two parallel lines and transversal already set up. The first task I would ask them to do would be to find the measures for all the angles, and that would turn out looking something like this, with the angles all right here. From here, I would ask which angles have the same measure and which angles are supplementary, and hopefully they will give me 4 angles with one measure and 4 with another, as seen over here with one at about 116 and the other at about 63. And then tell me that those are supplementary to each other because they add up to 180 degrees. That's one concept that they would get out of this. And usually kids will understand angles such as AHB, this one right here, and BHD across from it are supplementary because they are right next to each other. The next question of which angles have the same measure will get them thinking that angles AHB can also be supplementary all the way over here to GDE. And finally, asking them what happens when you move certain points will make them realize that with two parallel lines and a transversal, there will only be 2 different angle measures, and that those 2 angle measures will always be supplementary to one another, and also that certain angles will always stay congruent no matter where you move the outside points, just as long as the 2 vertical lines stay parallel. So an example would be that they would want to move this point E first, move it in and out, up and down, and as you see, wherever you stop, you still have 2 angles you're dealing with, only 2, the 111 and 69 about, all throughout there. Then if you move B around, and as you can see, when you move B, the other line GF moves as well because they're staying parallel. And as soon as you move that, even if it's like this, you're still dealing with 2 angles in this whole list of angles. And now I will explain the technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge associated with this project. For the technology, I drew a line segment and a point, and then I was able to construct a parallel line of the segment crossing the selected point. And I also used sketchpad to measure many of the angles. This is a good resource when the actual measurements of the angles are not important in this case, but the concept is what you want the students to focus on. For pedagogy, this was shown by the video you just saw, that I would have the students answering questions on their own by allowing them to mess around with the sketch I provided. And finally, content knowledge. This was mentioned in the previous video that children should use this lesson to realize the concept behind proofs, such as why opposite interior angles are congruent, and also why it is that there are only 2 angle measures in this whole sketch out of 8 total angles.